I'd like to welcome you back to the conclusion of an incredible day in the Columbia River Gorge. From the narrow passage of Cascade Locks to Arlington, Union Pacific and a little beyond has delivered. As the sun sinks low and the light turns golden, I find myself at Blaylock, host of a recently extended siding and 70-mile-per-hour mainline track. This is where trains, especially intermodal ones, really hustle. From milepole 114.7, just past Goff, until the track split to double track at Hinkle at milepole 181.8, the main line is good for 70 miles per hour. The open vista allows us to see this train coming for miles. Earlier in the day, we saw a monstrous stack train over 14,000 feet long at Cascade Locks. The approaching train is even bigger, at nearly 3 miles long and requiring 7 engines. It is booking as it hurries toward twilight en route to Chicago. The controlling consist of this train wouldn't be able to send radio signals to the DPU pushing almost 3 miles back in the rear without the engines in the middle also serving as repeaters to extend the signal's reach. The maximum distance for DPUs is about 1.5 miles from the leader without a repeater. The amount of merchandise represented just in this one train alone is staggering. This is now the lengthiest train I've ever personally witnessed, and I hope it remains so. As a railroader, I believe trains of this size are a high-risk reward situation. As long as everything goes well, the company looks like geniuses, but when it goes bad, a train like this can create big problems for everyone. About 7 miles to the west of Blaylock is a place called Philippi Canyon. I hope to get this manifest train on this sweeping curve, but it's taking the siding at Quinton, the next siding to the west of Blaylock. In Washington, the counterpart to the Empire Builder we saw this morning is starting its own trip back to Chicago. This is only a part of the Empire Builder, which will unite with its northern half at Spokane. The train splits there to take passengers directly to either Portland or Seattle. Anybody with any experience in the Gorge would tell you you're more likely than not to deal with strong, steady wind, as the topography creates a perfect wind tunnel. But this day has been remarkably calm. Great for train watching, but not for windsurfing. Noticing that there was multiple trains converging on Blaylock, I decided to head back, and I got there just in time to see a westbound taking the siding. This manifest is en route to Portland from Pocatello. Pocatello was an important terminal, where the Montana, Nampa, Ogden, and Pocatello subs all come together. A recent track project extended the west end of Blaylock siding. Before, it wouldn't have been able to hold this train. On a warm evening night, other than the sound of passing trains, nothing beats the background noise of crickets and a river. Unless, of course, I could have a campfire going. Before long, I could see headlights appearing on both sides of the river. A Tacoma to Global 2 stack train taking advantage of the 70-mile-an-hour track, with a leader whose paint still looked fresh from the shop, is putting the West Coast in the rearview mirror in a hurry. This intermodal train wasn't short, and yet it's still 4,000 feet shorter than the last one. With night closing in, my next move depended on which of these cited manifests were released first, and when the Fred started moving on the train at Blaylock, I had my answer. It was time to move down the line to get the head-in meeting at Quinton, as long as there was still light. The age-old conductor roll-by is one of the best ways the railroad protects against a developing problem, like a shifted load or a hot box, before matters get worse. And if no issues are found, the conductor radios to the head end highball the roll. And now it's time for me to highball home, back to the Willamette Valley, weary but enjoying the good memories of a day on the Columbia River Gorge. And I hope you enjoyed the journey as well. But stay tuned to PRP as we shift gears from the hurried pace of the Class 1 main lines to a deeper look at some of the locals and branch lines of the Willamette Valley. We'll see you there.